But first, oil. Well, it's continued its roller coaster ride into the new year. Brent crude falling below $35 a barrel for the first time in 11 years. This fall comes just after a short-lived rally on Monday. Since mid-2014, of course, prices have fallen by about 70%, and it's due to weak demand, surging US productions, and a number of other factors we're going to have a look at. We'll look at how it's affected other markets in a moment. But first, let's examine why we've seen that fall in prices today, particularly. With me is Abhishek Deshpande, who is Chief Oil Market Analyst with Natixis. Abhishek, why today? What's happened? What's the latest news that has sent the market down?
I think markets are realizing that the fundamentals aren't that great at all. The whole surge or the support in oil prices that you saw yesterday from the Saudi Arabia and Iranian situation has finally, markets have realized that there's just no need for that because of the excess in the market. But
what normally happens when you get tension in the Middle East between, for instance, Iran and Saudi is that prices go up because people feel that supply is going to be disrupted.
Absolutely. I mean, this is quite an important region when it comes to oil markets. And if you're talking about two of the key oil-producing countries, which is Saudi Arabia and Iran, which together contribute almost 14 million barrels per day, oil markets should really react to that, and you can see a significant geopolitical risk premium attached to oil. But this time around, it's different because of...
We know that Saudi's policy is to lower the price, pump out oil, lower the price, and they will take market share back from the shale producers in the United States. Do you think they've gone too far? Do you think they're regretting that they started doing all this?
Well, they didn't have much of a choice. What other option did they have at the end of 2014, realistically speaking? If they had cut back, some of the producers in the US that you over here mentioned would have continued to produce. So even again, after 6 months, you would have expected, or markets would have expected Saudi Arabia to cut back once more.
But it's affecting their budget, isn't it? It's affecting their finances.
But then they do realize that it was going to be a problem in the near to medium term, and this was possibly the only solution that they had to take. Of course, one thing I do agree is that they didn't anticipate that this low oil price scenario will continue for so long, and that's where they got their shock for continuing to be in low oil prices. And I think they are now prepared for even slightly longer duration of lower prices than before.
What about Iran? Because Iran coming back onto the market, pumping out the oil, desperately trying to increase its revenues, and finding for every barrel it pumps out, it's getting less money.
I think Saudi Arabia does find a big threat from Iran over here, especially with the lifting up of sanctions and the whole Western alliance with Iran over here. Is also Saudi Arabia is not very comfortable with the US not allying itself with Iran, but at least giving it its consent that, okay, we are ready to lift the sanctions. It's not helping Saudi, but at the same time, Saudi can add close to 1 million barrels per day, and that is a lot of oil for Saudi Arabia to expect, for Saudi Arabia to take, especially from Iran.